next adventure to meet our compatriots who live abroad took place right before the winter season. That is why the destination is understandable, south and only south, preferably somewhere close to a warm ocean. We also realized that we have never visited Southeast Asia. After studying the countries of that region, we decided on Malaysia, a country that is so loved by the people of Kazakhstan and for a wide range of reasons. But all in due turn. We are in Malaysia, in the wonderful city of Kuala Lumpur. Malaysia, a country located in Southeast Asia and divided into two parts by the South China Sea. Its name has Sanskrit roots and translates as mountain land. Considering that the country is located near the equator, Malaysia's climate is hot and humid all throughout the year. It is a country that is distinguished by its ethnic and linguistic diversity. Here reside representatives of Austronesian peoples and Chinese, Indian, and many other ethnic groups. Today, Malaysia is a paradise of divine nature, carefully preserving its traditions and clean beaches. Upon our arrival, we had a surprising and very pleasant encounter. Two friends, long-term residents, some of the first students in Kuala Lumpur, decided to meet with us to tell us their stories. I would like to say that Kuala Lumpur is a very busy and business-oriented city. People here are very business-minded. That is why for them to carve out a couple of free hours during a workday is not that easy. As usual, we have some small souvenirs that we brought from back home, and now with great pleasure, we present them to our compatriots. What's more, this meeting is very convenient for this, because Kazakh people have a wonderful tradition of always visiting each other while bringing gifts. Hello, Kazakhstan!
Для карьерного роста мне мои руководство сказали, что я должна иметь магистратуру.
For my professional growth, my management told me that I need to get a master's degree. I decided to look for some programs, and I came upon a website with the description of Malaysia telling about the possibility of obtaining a British education at a reasonable price. I decided to choose it and came in the beginning to complete English language courses, and then in 2010 started my master's degree and completed it.
Дети у меня, семья осталась в Казахстане, я вернулась. Отработав там 8 месяцев, я очень сильно...
My family stayed back in Kazakhstan, and so I came back. After working for 8 months, I really started missing Malaysia, a lot. I was drawn to it. Everyone says that when you come to Malaysia, then you either immediately fall in love with it or reject it altogether. This is what happened to me. I fell in love. Having fallen in love with Malaysia, I thought perhaps my children can study here as well.
Ну, я должна благодарить родителей. Это мама подтолкнула, чтобы я сюда приехала. Мы долго искали университеты.
I have to thank my parents. It was my mother who pushed me into coming here. We were looking for universities for a long time. And as it is common among Kazakhs, we received information through people we know about a friend of us studying there and a daughter's friend studying in another place. Thus, through acquaintances, I came here. We arrived as a group of 15 to 16 people, and afterwards, other students arrived. We're like one big happy family. We visited each other, spent evenings at each other's places. A sort of community was established. We try to help one another with studies as well. Even if you are far from your homeland, you try to stick closer to your own people.
Я когда сюда приехала, я приехала на пустое место. Ни визы, ни работы.
When I came here, I didn't have anything arranged. No visa, no job, nothing. I just had a 1-month tourist visa. I left my children with my parents and asked them to give me 1 year. During this time, I would get settled and will take the children with me then.
Фрилансером, переводчиком, организовала встречи бизнесменам. Так как я работала в этой системе, оно мне это замкнуло, мне это очень легко получилось.
They agreed to this. For a year, I worked as a freelance translator, organized business meetings. Because I was familiar with the system, everything was easier for me. Then in 2012, the president of Kazakhstan, Nursultan Nazarbayev, paid a visit. And because I worked in public administration and am familiar with how it works, I was invited to help organize an exhibition and an investment forum. The exhibition was a success.
Успешное мероприятие. Мне предложили дальше работать в Казахстанско-Малайзийской торговой палате. В 2012 году я привезла своих детей.
And after this successful event, I was offered a job at the Kazakhstan-Malaysia Chamber of Commerce. In 2012, I brought my kids here. My eldest daughter, at that moment, she was 16. She was not happy, and she was a teenager at that time. We had to find a more accepting approach, find a common ground. So we found a college, and she started her studies there.
Мы нашли колледж, она туда поступила. На сегодняшний день она очень счастлива и довольна. Маленькая дочь, она влилась вообще в коллектив.
Today, she's very satisfied and happy. My youngest daughter, Maria, got into the flow right away. I remember when she just came here, all she knew was sorry and thank you in English. After 3 months, her English was better than mine. Right now, she's studying in the international school, Seifol, and is in 6th grade. And my older daughter is studying at a university to become a jewelry designer. Everything is good. The first thing that you notice is the ethnic diversity of Kuala Lumpur. Various Asian nationalities, representatives of Arabic, Indian, Chinese, African, and European peoples. However, the population of Kuala Lumpur, Ali, or as everyone calls it, KL, is only 2 million. It is very hot in the city, and the sun blazes relentlessly. There are a lot of mosques and buildings with an Islamic architectural design, and all this at the backdrop of glass and concrete skyscrapers. KL dazzles with its unique visual contrast. Overall, the city is not very convenient for long walks. It was designed more with auto transport in mind.
Первое мое впечатление, когда я вышла с аэропорта, вот этот, я не знаю, такая волна.
My first impressions when I came out of the airport was that the heat wave, I was like in a sauna. I thought, oh my God, what is happening? Is it me worrying so much? In the beginning, it was very tough, difficult to get used to the people, because everyone is of different ethnic background, speaking with different dialects. I came to study English, and here there's its own accent. It was very difficult for me. And then the cuisine. Everything that I brought with me from Kazakhstan, that's all I ate in the beginning.
When I first went to Kazakhstan, the next day I went to Astana. This was in October last year, and it snowed out of nowhere. So I mean, from nowhere, I was not prepared for the cold weather, and then I discovered that the weather can change very fast, and also it gets much colder in Astana compared to Almaty. And Kazakhstan, just to my trips in Almaty and Astana, I see a lot of people, and I notice the women are very beautiful.
Да, во-первых, это языковой барьер. У нас свой акцент.
First of all, there is the language barrier. We have our own accent. It's a bit rougher. Here, Malay people have their own. Their accent is more soft, and Lao is added in the end. It is difficult to understand Chinese people as well. They add ma and me in the end of words. I've been living here for 8 years already, and still sometimes I don't understand.
Языковой барьер можно подучить, можно пройти, там, понять.
It is possible to overcome the language barrier by learning some new things, and understanding becomes easier. We have a different mentality. People in Malaysia are not in a rush to do things. Any job, it can take them 2 to 3 days to complete, whereas we would do it in 2 to 3 hours.
Мне тут очень нравится то, что люди, они...
I really like the fact that people here are very open and kind. If you don't understand something, they always help. I really like the climate.
И погода мне очень нравится. А в Казахстане...
In Kazakhstan, we have 4 seasons, and here there's only one, summer. Of course, sometimes I do miss the winter season. The Petronas Tower is impressed with their visual design. It is a true feat of contemporary art, the pride and symbol of the capital of Malaysia, reaching a height of 450 meters. With a design that resembles 2 identical corn cobs, which at the same time follows all the canons of Islamic architectural motifs. The building complex represents 2 8-pointed stars. The towers are connected by a glass bridge, which is called Sky Bridge. It is set at a height of 170 meters. It has a viewing platform, which allows one to catch a view that is truly breathtaking. The shafts of the Twin Towers can be seen from any part of the city, and in cloudy weather, they're surrounded by a sea of clouds. Overall, the tower has 32,000 windows. In order to clean them all, a cleaning crew requires 1 month. And around the towers, there is a small and cozy park, where one can go for a walk or just catch a break.
В последующем, как вы знаете, Малайзия известна своим фруктом дуриан.
As you know, Malaysia is famous for its fruit, the durian. My neighbor who just arrived from Mongolia brought it once. She put it in the fridge, and when I opened it, I felt a really strong smell. I asked her, "Bilgun, did you go to the store and buy something rotten? The smell is unbearable."
Она взяла, понюхала, говорит, точно что-то испорчено. Мы выкинули, а мы же не знали, что дуриан должен так
She
пахнуть.
came up to the fridge and said, "You're right, something is rotten." We threw out the fruit, not knowing that it is how the durian smells. There is a Friday evening market here where one can buy all the local tropical fruits and vegetables.
Конечно, наши лица скривились. Мы так пожали плечами и сказали, ну, на любителя.
We were offered this famous durian. We tried it, thought the taste to be quite different, shrugged and said, "To each their own," and that was it. But today everyone knows, especially my Malaysian friends, that when the durian season begins, Bayan is the first to try. Once I tried the local tea. It is called tea tarek. It is bitter, sweet, and dense. I fell in love with it right away.
Well, actually we had dinner at the Hakim's mansion. You know, so that was my first experience to eat horse meat, and then everything was in very big portions. We from Malaysia are not used to eating big portions, and then it was my first experience at eating a whole sheep. Actually, the sheep was slaughtered and put on a plate, and then the head. And I understand the different parts of the animals are used to signify different things. So that was quite interesting. But another thing, I did a bit of research about the Kazakh and the meat-eating habits. I found out that the Kazakhs are the biggest horse-eating population in the world, and also among the probably number 2 or number 3 in terms of meat eaters. But in terms of horse meat, Kazakhs are number 1. Yes. Mm-hmm.
During the shooting of our program, a small miracle occurred. It started raining, which is not surprising for the rain season, and then a rainbow appeared. It seemed that it stretched from one end of the city to the other. For our country, this is a quite usual phenomenon, but according to the local residents who have lived here for quite some time, a rainbow in Kuala Lumpur is a very rare phenomenon. It can be seen only 2 to 3 times every 10 years. We decided to consider this beautiful occurrence as a good sign and as our small gift to all the people of Malaysia from our boundless native country.
Я дружу со многими здесь семьями, так же, как с молодыми.
I'm friends with many people here and their families. For me, the age category has no limits. That is why, if need be, we go out with the younger people or have tea with the elders. As a rule, we invite guests over for tea. I have friends from Russia, and when they come over, I ask them what would they like to drink, and they reply with enthusiasm, Kazakh tea.
Ну, у меня есть друзья с Японии, с Кореи, с Пакистана, со Шри-Ланки, с Индии.
I have friends from Japan, Korea, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, India, Indonesia, Ukraine, Russia, Uzbekistan.
Студенты, с кем мы общались, учились раньше, некоторые из них здесь остались, как и я.
With the students with whom we studied before and who stayed here, we meet once a week or perhaps a couple of times a month.
Здесь у всех работа, особо не встретишься.
Everyone is working, so it's tough to find the time to meet. With the students, we get together for Nowruz, 8th of March, and New Year's.
В российском посольстве есть русский культурный центр. Вот. Мы там очень часто ходим. на мероприятия.
The Russian embassy here has a Russian cultural center. We go there quite often for various events. They often organize plays and theater performances, also New Year's events for children. The last event was dedicated to the 9th of May. All the CIS countries were represented.
Это был, конечно, основным организатором это было российское посольство и все остальные страны СНГ.
The main organizers were the Russian embassy and all the countries of the CIS. I could say that I'm part of all the diasporas. I would be part of the Azerbaijani diaspora and part of the Russian diaspora. The idea of organizing officially has not come up yet, and I cannot say that we're elder or Aksakal representatives. But considering the wide geography of students, I'm wondering perhaps it would be a very good idea to organize our own diaspora community.
Диаспору. Я думаю, что это очень хорошая идея.
Every large city, including of course Kuala Lumpur, is constantly buzzing with energy. And the hot tropical climate provides an additional stimulus to go out into the city in the evening when the relentless sun is not as harsh. And it is not only the visitors who think like this, but also the locals, who enjoy walks past numerous fountains and beautiful parks, having a coffee in a cozy cafe, or more exciting ways of passing free time in the evening. Undoubtedly, a long-term trip to another country that is thousands of kilometers away requires hard-set motivations. Every person has long-term plans and lifelong goals. We decided to find out what motivated our compatriots to come to Malaysia and how do they see their life unfolding in the future. And so...
Касательно моих планов, на сегодняшний день я здесь.
Regarding my plans, for now I'm here. I cannot say how much longer I will stay here, but for sure until my children get their education, we will be here. Then time will show. We have not severed our ties with Kazakhstan.
Родственники, друзья, коллеги, поэтому 2 раза в год.
Our relatives, friends, and colleagues are there. That is why twice a year we go back to Kazakhstan, I and my children. We stay in touch with our relatives through Skype and WhatsApp with the parents and friends. This is a must. It is our past and our future.
Ну, я бы хотела тут окончить мое образование, а потом уже...
I would like to complete my education here and then return to Kazakhstan or perhaps go to another country.
А сейчас...
For now, I prefer to stay in Malaysia to work while there is an opportunity. But of course, I think that I will return back to Kazakhstan, start my own business there. But for now, while there is the possibility, I will stay here. Our trip coincided with a symbolic date in Kazakhstan, the day of the first president. And we were very pleasantly surprised that our compatriots, despite residing for such a long time in other countries, have not forgotten this date.
От своего лица я хотела бы пожелать нашему президенту стойкости, лидерской выдержки.
Personally, I would like to wish our president perseverance, endurance, to keep up with the chosen policy track. The goals that he set before the people of Kazakhstan and the government, I hope that we reach them. Health, happiness, and prosperity to our president and our people. We love you, Kazakhstan. Until next time. Well, our story about the lives of our compatriots in Malaysia is coming to an end. We were impressed by the beauty of this country, the energy of its city, and meetings with our compatriots and their kind words. The tinges of nostalgia made us want to go back home even more, taking with us kind greetings and warm memories.